Good morning, everyone. As you're coming into our webinar today, we just want to say welcome. And I'm Lucy Woodward from DICAN. I'm going to just kind of run through a few housekeeping and do some introductions, and then I'm going to be passing off to my coworkers here. But again, thank you for joining our webinar, the Winter Light Up Preparing Your Plowing Fleet for the Season. We're going to have Kendra Abraham and Steve Voss, our resident experts at DICAN, kind of walk you through what it looks like to work on your fleet, get it ready for winter so that we can be as prepared as possible. Unfortunately, the snow always seems to come. Yeah, Steve, I'm going to actually start with you. And if you can just do a quick intro, say hi to everyone, and then Kendra, and then I'm going to let you guys talk. At the end, we're going to open it up for questions. So you can ask any questions by either raising your hand and we'll put you off mute so that you can ask, or if you'd rather in the chat or the Q&A, type out your question because you don't want to speak, that is also okay. So Steve, I'll hand off to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucy. Everyone, I'm Steve Voss. I'm the technical and product manager here at DICAN. I will overview all the hardware that's often installed in a lot of your equipment and train the technicians who install these and troubleshoot. And we're going to be talking about some winter light up today. So Kendra, take it away.
Thanks, everyone. My name is Kendra Abraham. I am the onboarding and trainer here at DICAN. And so today, like everyone has stated, we're talking about winter light up. So I want to talk about what is winter light up and why is it important? So obviously your winter equipment plays a vital role in keeping roads safe during storms, winter storms. Road maintenance becomes more than just routine. We need to ensure the safety of our citizens by making sure that we're plowing, salting in a timely fashion. And when we have GPS, that is helpful in order to make sure everything is working properly. So winter light up is the process of checking our equipment before winter actually hits so that we can be confident that everything's working the way that it should be. Okay. So we want to talk about a few different processes in completing winter light up. So first, we're going to talk about software preparedness. Steve tells me that's a word, so I'm going to go with it. So the things that we find are best to check first is the software. Before we're going to check the hardware, we're going to check our software. So the things that we want to check in software, I'm going to share my screen. The first thing that we want to check are our rate plans. So the rate plans really don't mean too much throughout the year. They're more for a billing side of things, but they do play an important piece come the wintertime. So there's two different rate plans that we want to make sure our winter equipment are on, either the Pro Plus Public Works or the Go plan. Okay. Now, in saying that, there's a little bit of a caveat. Only those vehicles that are giving out data, and what I mean by data is specifically spreader rates or temperature readings, so like numbers that we're capturing, okay? Only those vehicles need to be on the Pro Plus Public Works. If we're just monitoring telemetry, which is simply a status, up and down or on and off, those are statuses versus data, okay? Those vehicles do not need to be on Pro Plus Public Works, okay? If it's just a status we're monitoring, you can get away with a smaller rate plan, but the data requires either the Go plan or the Pro Plus Public Works, okay? So keep that in mind. So to check this, we can check our rate plan within our database. So you would navigate to your assets page, okay? And probably the easiest way of doing this, especially if you have a larger fleet, is to filter by groups. If you have all of your plows in a group, let's say, I have mine in the roadway snow removal group, okay? Now, of course, at DICAN, we don't have our own plows. So we are pretending that my 2019 Sprinter is in fact a spreader. So we then get our list of vehicles that we're checking. Now, right now, I do not have rate plans in my list of things that I can see from here. But if I click on the little gear, I can toggle on rate plan, and then I can see which rate plan my Go device is on. So my 2019 Sprinter is on the Go plan, that's great. That's one of the two that I'm able to be on in order to capture what information I need. So this one's good to go. If I had a greater list of vehicles and some weren't on the necessary plan, I'd want to reach out to DICAN to adjust our rate, because only your reseller can affect your rate, okay? Because it is tied to billing, only we can do it. So you're just checking to make sure everything is on the proper rate before you set your test. If it's not, let us know ahead of your testing day so that we can make sure to change it and you'll be ready for your testing day. Okay. The next thing we want to check in the software is our rules. So we're going to navigate to groups and rules. Your material management rules, if we scroll down. Here we go, are our winter rules. So we want to make sure that everything we're looking to capture is turned on, that we are expecting to have on. So for example, we're likely going to want to capture our solid application, our solid materials being spread. We may or may not be monitoring pre-wet or liquid. And if we're not, you don't need to toggle these on. You can leave them off, okay? You only need to turn on the ones that you're actually monitoring. Plow active is important as well. Okay, we want to make sure that one's on so that we're capturing the right information. And then unloading and deadhead are completely up to you. Again, if you're looking to monitor that information, turn them on. If you're not, you can leave them off. Okay, so we just want to make sure that the things we're looking to capture are turned on specifically under the material management section. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to move to our asset data display. This is that really annoying pop-out box that shows up on your map page. Okay. While it's not always used in the summertime, it is really handy for the wintertime. Okay, so we want to make sure that we've got our display set up with all the information that we're looking for. Okay, if it's not, that's okay. We'll send out how to do that after the webinar with instructions and the list of things that you populate here. Okay, we're just looking to make sure that the things are populated. They don't necessarily need to be populated, sorry. We just want to make sure our list is here so that when we are ready to monitor, it'll populate the information we're looking to capture. Okay, so as long as that's sort of set up, then that's great. We are ready to move on to checking our hardware. So Steve, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Kendra. So what we're planning to do, what we're doing is we're setting up a test day for winter light up. We want to, this is the test in which we're going to check both the hardware and then the software, make sure we're seeing the data we need to see when we do a test. So the first thing we need to do is to set up a route or a plan for how we want to do a test. So first, we're going to iron out which vehicles we're monitoring. So in municipal fleets, like many of you, I'm sure, you'll have different types of assets that do different things. You'll have the combo plows that maybe have a front plow and a wing plow. Maybe you're monitoring both. Maybe you're just monitoring the front plow. This is what you have set up for. This is what we're going to check. And then you'll have sidewalk plows. So sidewalk plows, maybe it's a front plow and maybe a telemetry or an on-off state for the rear auger and salter, because there's no smart computer on those. So those are we want to set up a route for the different telemetries we're going to have. And then we want to communicate with an operator to do this test route and to say, at this point, you're going to turn the plow on, put the plow down and drive to point A, make a turn or continue whatever, and then change the plow position to up. And then now you're going to activate the other telemetry that's on this truck. Maybe it's the wing plow. So Kendra, maybe even if you wanted to open up the example image we have, we'll share your screen there. And this is a basic example of what that could look like. So it doesn't need to be elaborate. It just needs to be consistent and clear. So both you, who's going to be checking the operation in My Geotab, and the operator who's going to be moving the equipment to do this test, everyone's doing the same thing and expecting the same action here. So here you can see we just drew a line, front plow up, but the salter is off, wing plow up and salter's on. And this is the kind of the map you're going to create, hand that out to the operator you're working or operators that you'll be working with, and say, this is the test route we're going to do for the season. And then they simply drive it as per. and we'll be doing a check on that. So first is to get the map ready and to get an idea of what we want to check. Next would be to get the hardware totally ready for this for doing this test. So a couple of things you're going to want to check is your road temperature sensors that are on your equipment. You want to make sure they're working and also calibrated. So it's recommended that both either your RoadWatch or Guardian sensors be calibrated once a year. This is a service. We'll give you some more detailed information that we, as Daikin, offer you. You can ship them to us, and we can calibrate them, give you a certification for that, and you're good to go for those on the season. The other piece of the hardware that we're going to need for these tests is the plows to be on, trucks that are converted from summer operation to winter operation. That's kind of at this time. So the conveyor covers that are in there, that because that dump truck's been used now all summer as a dump, is now going to be moving salt. We need those covers out, and you're going to want obviously your salters. You're going to do your calibration for your salters from your manufacturer. You're going to want those to be calibrated, and just like an overall visual inspection of what sensors you're using for your plows or augers. If they're external sensors, you just want to make sure nothing's loose or damaged. Physically, obviously it's not a true test until we do the actual electrical test and do the drive test, but at least you get an idea of the shape those are in. Unless you're fortunate to use any of the Daikin Plow Pilot family sensors, because those are all internal in-cab sensors that aren't susceptible to exterior damage because they're mounted in the cab. And then we can move on to when should we start looking at doing the winter light up. So like I mentioned, the spreaders should be calibrated. So a great day to do that, or the week of, is maybe when you are doing your spreader calibrations and then putting on the wing and plows, because that's a great time then you're already running the truck, you're getting all the equipment on the truck, and you're ready to do a full test. So next would be then to move the plows on. I already went over that. So then how's it done? You do your operator test. And then the best thing that I found when we're doing them is if you're not the same person that's obviously operating the equipment, you're a supervisor that's working with maybe operations, is to simply coordinate with them, like say what day they decided to do the test. Everyone obviously knows the plan, and just say this unit did the test on Monday, unit 5 or 2 did it on Tuesday, and then if you just give them like a list of that, you can kind of bang off all of these checks in one sitting, so you don't have to be around or babysitting. You can be a little more efficient that way, and then you look to see if everything is checking out. One other piece of hardware that's often now new, more common, is live cameras. So another thing to check in that would be to make sure your cameras are also up and running. You're seeing the recording at the same time. That's kind of the whole overall check of what the day would look like. And maybe, Kendra, we have another example of what Town of Ajax had done in their winter light up, how they showed the route that they wanted to use as a map to their operators, and then an example of what that kind of looks like. Lucy, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know, Steve. There were no slides up for the last. There we go. There's something back up. I just wanted to make sure you knew that it wasn't sharing for the last minute or two.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry.
Okay, yep. Perfect.
This is what we'll be showing. Yep. So this is how they were communicating to the operators of like, this is the route you're going to do. You can see here, salt and sand is going to be active at this point. You're going to put the wing down on this side street here. And then in blue there, the front plow is going down. And so what they did is they used their route completion tool built into GeoTab and just took a look at that route that way. And Kendra, if you just go to an example of what that looked like to them, you'll notice that one dotted line road that isn't actually filled. It was missed. It's not recognizing anything there. So that kind of told them right away, oh, something's wrong with the plow, the wing plow. So we should look into that. So that would trigger a service call, either on your own, or you can reach out to the Daikin team for field service tech issues. And yeah, somewhere between the sensor, the cable, from the cable to the GeoTab, or whether or not maybe even the harness itself is damaged. So that that's how we know, okay, this one needs to be checked before, we're 100%. Everything else seems to be good.
Yeah, so this sort of leads into our next section of what happens when something goes wrong. So Steve covered those things. Yes, when something like this happens where we're going along, okay, we have this section being marked as completed. Great, that's telling us that our spreader is being recorded into route completion. It's showing up. Great. This section, if you remember, was supposed to be the wing. Okay, well, we're not showing as completed here. So then that triggers to us, ooh, something has gone wrong with the wing. We can see here, yep, okay, this section was being marked as completed. If we remember from our map, that's when our front plow went down. So we can see from Ajax's example, that great, our spreaders were working fine, our front plow is reporting in fine, but our wing is not. So we're going to check, like Steve said, we're going to double check those hardware pieces. Okay, we're going to make sure that nothing is loose. A quick inspection, there's no damaged cables, everything's plugged in that's supposed to be plugged in. Okay, if the hardware seems fine, that's wonderful. We're going to double check those software things that we checked at the beginning. Are we actually supposed to be monitoring wing? Maybe we don't have that rule turned on, so maybe the system doesn't know to capture it. Okay, are we on the right rate plan? Because spreader is reporting in, that tells me that yes, likely we're on the right rate plan. Okay, so you can start to sort of eliminate some of these things again to say what really is our problem here. And then if you still don't know or you still need help and we not sure how to fix what's gone wrong, that's perfectly fine. Reach out to help@daicaninc.com, our support team, and we will get you connected with the right team, whether it's the hardware team or the software team. We're going to help you figure out and resolve this before winter hits, okay, so that we're ready. That's the whole point of doing winter light up. Okay, I also just want to mention that there are a couple special other things that we want to be checking, okay, that aren't necessarily related directly to our vehicles, but they are related to our winter season. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again here. So Town of Ajax, great example because it leads right into if we are using route completion in Geotab, whether that's through Geotab directly or through another partner like NSIM, great. We want to make sure that before the winter season starts, our routes are up to date. If they haven't changed from last year, wonderful. There's nothing we need to adjust. If they have changed from last year, we need to make sure that those shape files or those updated routes are in the system before we begin winter so that we are smoothly capturing the pieces of information that we need to. Okay. The material management report. This one, if you're able to lay down a little bit of material before the winter starts. Now, I know that's often tricky for a lot of us, but if you are able to lay down actual material, it would be wonderful to check that material usage against the material management report. Okay, we want to be making sure that our numbers are matching so that we can go into the winter season confident that that report is accurate and we don't have anything to worry about it. We can actually reflect correctly what we're putting down at any given time. Okay. The next piece goes along with our route completion, and that's our public facing website. Okay, again, if you're using what was once called Citizens Insight, I think they might have changed the name. If not, Citizens Insights was the Geotab one. Again, is that set up correctly? Has anything changed from previous years? Are your routes reflected accurately within the database? Are your proper pieces of equipment set to report into there, right? All of these things we want to make sure we're double checking before winter actually begins so that our citizens can feel confident and there's less stress from higher ups about things not working, okay? We also want to make sure that we're doing this with our contractors. So Ajax, again, they're my favorite child for today. Not only did they run the winter light up with their own fleet, but they also required their contractors to run that same route and complete winter light up as well. So they were confident that their fleet was working and they needed to fix anything that they needed to fix, but also that their contractors were also being responsible and having things reporting correctly so that they didn't have to worry as well about, oh, well, my contractor's spreaders aren't working or whatever the case may be. They went into the winter season with confidence that, yes, things are reporting. We're seeing everything that we're supposed to be seeing, and we don't have to worry about the first snowfall. Okay. And the last piece of this is that, even though we call this winter light up, you don't necessarily just need to run this for your winter units, right? Sweepers in the summertime or the spring or the fall or whenever you run your sweepers, there's extra data that we're often monitoring from our sensors on sweepers, whether our brooms are up and down. So they don't necessarily fall in winter, but it's a great idea to run a similar test for those other pieces of equipment that you might be monitoring telemetry on for those seasons as well. So even though it's called winter light up, it's actually just a great check at any time of the year for any vehicle that you might be looking to monitor those extra pieces on. Lastly, I have a little tidbit of a food for thought for everyone today. And it's just that if you're using the maintenance reminders in Geotab, making winter light up a part of your yearly maintenance schedule is a great idea. You have every vehicle listed in there, make sure you're checking them all off, and then you know with confidence, yes, this vehicle has been checked, you can mark it as completed and move on, and you have a record of that from year to year. So also a really great idea to think about doing that too. Great. Did we have any questions, Lucy?
So not yet, but I think we can open it up to questions now if anyone wants to raise their hand, and we can pull you off mute. There we go, Sarah. I will unmute you, Sarah. Hold on one second. There we go. Oh, I allowed Mike, you need to unmute. Sorry. And then David, you're next.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. All righty. So thank you for the demonstration, Kendra and Steve. I guess I just wanted to share another way that here at Peterborough County, we're also doing winter light up. So it's worked really well for us. So instead of creating a route and then having operators assigned to travel that route, what I do is I go with the fleet supervisor. We just kind of poke away over a couple of weeks time frame. We're actually going to be starting next week, our winter light up. And so I go in the truck in the passenger seat. He's in the driver's seat. I set up Geotab on my laptop or a tablet out in the vehicle and just walk him through plow up, plow down, wing up, wing down, as well. We go through the the Dickie John controls and just make sure that what is being selected on the spreader controller in the vehicle is being reflected in my Geotab. And so I actually use a couple different methods. I use the asset data display in some instances, and then I also use a measurements report, which also includes the IAX works status and some other details that I find are really helpful. So I just wanted to share that with anyone else who may be interested in, other ways of doing it that have, for us anyways, have been proven to be really successful. And ultimately, what we do if there is an issue that's identified that we can't resolve, immediately ourselves, just documenting while we're out in the yard, what is occurring, and then compiling a list. I have a couple of dates pre-booked with the fabulous team at Daikin for like a repair day because I'm realistic. I know that things can happen between last season and now. So pretty much guarantee there's going to be something that needs to be looked at. And so just planning ahead for that, because I know that you guys will be really busy assisting, your customers with winter light up. So I just wanted to say thank you for the demo and providing all those options to customers.
Right. Sarah doesn't know this, but she's going to be leading our winter light up webinar next year. So
Not even close.
That's wonderful, Sarah. Thank you. Yes, just because the ways we demonstrated today does not mean it's the only way. Sarah's absolutely right. If we want to get more involved and look at that IOX works status even, which is a great measurement to confirm, because if your works cable isn't reporting, you're not going to get any of your spreader data regardless. So we want to make sure that that's communicating. The only thing I wanted to mention with that as well is if you are monitoring live with the asset data display, just be aware that there can be up to a 2-minute delay, which is quite a long time, but
yes,
just be aware of that. So from you're actually putting your plow down or your data coming through, it will be a little bit delayed actually popping into your asset data display on your map, which is then also why we're double checking with the measurement section, because it's a little more, it gives you the date or the time.
Yeah,
So that's great.
that's usually why I kind of go back and forth, and the 2 minutes goes by pretty quick because we're usually doing some other things in the truck involved with winter light up anyways. So yeah, works out very well.
Perfect.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. David, you had your hand up. I've allowed your mic so you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this. This is wonderful. 2 questions. Do you have some kind of a checklist on what you kind of explained about going through this? And I'll tell you why. We don't have, our IT department is in a mix of trying to, we need to hire another IT person. The one that was doing it forever isn't here. So it's me now. And not super tech savvy. So I wonder if you have a checklist. That's the first question. Well, you do that one first.
Yes, I actually have a whole written document that outlines everything we talked about today. So we will be sending that out after this webinar because I'm not gatekeeping information. I want to share it with you. So absolutely, it's going to be shot over to you. It talks about where to find the pieces that we talked about, how to do those software checks, what you're looking for when you're checking the hardware, and then even the special extras. You get the whole thing in that document.
That's amazing. And then the next question, can we hire you if we need to help with this checklist of stuff? Do you charge an hourly rate that we can pay to have you assist if need be?
And pass that one off to Lucy.
Thanks, Kendra. We can do it, but the tricky thing is, you can see by all the names on this screen right now, we don't have the bandwidth to do everybody's. We can work with you. What we will recommend and what we've done, if you need a little extra help, we'll help you with kind of what Steve was showing, get you to run those routes, and we'll work with you to make sure that the data that we expect to see after you've run your route, like we can help you if you need help to figure out where to run the route and exactly what to do. We can book a little bit more time with you to kind of specifically go through your fleet, talk about, what's a good plan. And then we can work with you from that and then get our technicians. We just don't have enough technicians to send to everybody as much as we would love to. So we found that pretty successful in the past with some of our clients who, again, they don't have maybe the staff to go out and do all of it. They don't maybe have the IT staff, all of that. But we can work with you. So David, afterward, if you want to kind of work a little bit more closely with our support team to kind of get you going, we'll figure out the best route for you.
That'd be great. I appreciate
Awesome.
that.
No problem.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have, sorry, Manuel, I'm gonna allow your mic. Hold on. And you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Hi, just a quick question about that document you mentioned before. Does that cover the how to make routes and everything like that?
No, it won't cover how to make, like for route completion, are you talking about specifically?
Yeah.
No, it won't cover that. That's sort of a separate piece within GeoTab. This is specifically covering winter light up. I believe it does have Steve's example that he showed of the example route just around the building, turn right, turn left, turn right with the different color coding, but it's not specifically about here's how you create the shapefile for that route to upload.
Okay. No worries. I'll look into that myself then.
Yeah, and you can also reach out to us. Like, we're happy to help you with that other piece too. It just won't be part of that document. And Kendra, you have lots of documentation.
I do have lots of other documents for that, Manuel. So if you want to reach out to me afterwards, I'm happy to share those with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect. Other questions from anybody here? So hold on, there's something in the chat. Let me just read that one. Okay. Jeff just giving me a little comment there. Okay, so just to kind of recap, if you're going to be out, you can certainly use the way that Sarah's team does, where you're actually in the vehicle and kind of looking at your computer at your My Geotab while you're doing it, knowing that there's a bit of a delay. You can also pick a route to run around your yard and then engage your plow, your drop the material or simulate that. We recommend doing this after you get all your calibrations done. And then if you need any help with figuring out how that would work, or, verifying the data, maybe you've done this and you're like, I don't actually know what I'm looking at, please reach out to our team, help@daicaninc.com. We'll certainly help you with that. If you need a little bit of service work, reach out to our team. We'll try and help you the best we can. I appreciate all of you investing the time here to kind of hear this and work with us to make sure you guys are up and running. We really want you to have a successful winter. We want to have a successful winter. We wish the snow never came, but it does. We will be sending out this webinar video as well as the document that Kendra had mentioned. Courtney's reminding me that we have an upcoming webinar, and Courtney, I lost the note. So why don't you just unmute, and if you wouldn't mind sharing our next webinar for next month.
So our next webinar is going to be October 22nd, and it's going to be Rasters that's joining us. The sign up will be coming out in the next couple of weeks for that one.
Yeah, and so just so everyone knows what rasters.io is, it's an add-in to Geotab. They help you with in-cab route navigation, route planning and route management, and a little bit more winter reports. And also they do have a public-facing website. So it's a great product. If you haven't seen them before, please sign up when you see that come into your inbox. And yeah, if there's no other questions, we're going to sign off and wish everyone a great day. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, David, do you have another question, or were you just waving? You can unmute because I think I allowed your mic if you wanted to ask something else. You're okay. Great stuff. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.